how to get left brain people to fight for your quality time as a sixth sensory. So often five sensories take us for granted, they try to control us, they try to manipulate us, and they have these strategies. And why do they do them? It's because when they feel like they can win an argument or they can win some kind of competition in their head, they feel more powerful. The problem with that is when we let them feel powerful like that, they don't want to spend time with us anymore. And so we have to be aware of those games and stop them from the beginning. We can't let them trick us. So how do we catch their games from the beginning? Number one is that if they start arguing with you and you're in a long-term relationship with them, you need to be aware that they're having a bad day, and that if we keep picking on them and arguing back, they're gonna wanna win the argument and the argument is gonna escalate, okay? So if they're starting an argument, you need to find a way out of it as quickly as possible and let them have their tantrum, let them have their moment and calm back down. And then you can connect with them again. Give them space if they're being nasty and they're trying to argue with you. Know that it's not about you. Know that they're just having their own moment where they're angry about something not working out, and let them have their moment and then come back to them when they're feeling better. My next tip is that you have to stand up for yourself if they're being mean and they're picking on you. If they're calling you a name, like a swear word, or they're calling you something nasty, or they're criticizing your belief system, you need to find a way to stand up for yourself. You can say, I don't appreciate being called that. That's rude. If it's an overtly bad word that they've called you, just say what it is. If it's something more subtle, like they don't agree with the projects you're working on, or they don't think the strategy you're doing is working, then you can say something like, this is my strategy that I came up with, and I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with this priority that I'm so committed to, and I'm not going to deviate from it. I'm not going to deviate from my intuition, for example, because I believe in it and it works for me. So you got to let them have that message. You got to set that boundary with them. If you let them win, unfortunately, they lose respect for you, and then your relationship is going to get worse and worse. You also can't let them manipulate you into being intimate too soon. If they're trying to trick you into bed somehow by saying, let's enjoy the moment, I've got something back at my place, a great TV show, a great pet, a great piano, a great bottle of alcohol, whatever that thing is that they're trying to use to lure you into their home, don't fall for it. Don't go into their home, because what that shows is that you're in control of your body, you're in control of your thinking. You're not about to let a left brain person manipulate you and get you to go into their home to be intimate with them, okay? Not before it's the right timing, not before a commitment. And even when there is a commitment, you can still wait. It's your body, it's your choice. Do it when you've seen enough actions from them to validate your trust in them. Next piece of advice is you got to make sure they're not controlling you. So if you know for a fact that your dress looks good, maybe it's conservative and it's covering your knees and covering your chest, and it's beautiful and you feel proud of that dress, and you have a five sensory say, hey, that dress doesn't look good, I think you should wear something else, something more revealing, then you should not listen to them, okay? That's when they're controlling you. And I actually experienced this once when I was engaged. I picked a very conservative dress for a function that I wanted to wear professionally. And mysteriously, the dress that I had purchased disappeared. This person did not last in my life very long. I got rid of them. Other things five sensories may do is they may make fun of your friends and family. Let's say you're a spiritually minded person who hangs out with other spiritually minded people, and the five sensory makes fun of those people and calls them weird or whatever. You need to stand up for your friends and family, because then they'll actually trust that you will keep your word and you will stand up for them if anybody ever came after them and criticized them, right? So even though they're engaging in the bad behavior, you kind of got to put a stop to it and say, these are my friends and family and I accept them for who they are, and let them just sit on that. The next piece of advice is don't let a five sensory take you for granted. So let's say you've cooked for them. Usually they're pretty happy to let you cook for them, Be careful with this one though, because sometimes cooking for them can be like a subtle message of desperation, being like, please marry me. I am the perfect partner for you. So be careful with it. But let's say you cook for them and you cook for them in a given night, and then they say, your cooking is terrible tonight. And it's the same darn dish that you cooked for them before that they said was fantastic the first, second, third time. And then they suddenly change their mind, say it's bad. Well, then you can say, guess what? You can do the cooking from now on. You're right. Maybe I'm not the best cook. Maybe you're the one who should take over cooking in the household. See how they respond to that. Either they're going to stop picking on your cooking, or they're going to start cooking, and that's even better. The next piece of advice to get a 5 sensory to really want to fight for you and be with you as a 6 sensory is to let them take the initiative. Don't jump into arranging dates or arranging time to spend together just because they're a little slow or they're a little busy. That's actually going to diminish their respect for you in their eyes. Instead, stay busy with your own life and wait for them to come around. On a similar note, you also don't want to be so available all the time. You don't want to be so available to the 5 sensory all the time. Don't cancel your fitness classes. Don't cancel time with friends and family. Don't cancel work appointments that are very important. Don't cancel medical appointments. Don't cancel anything to hang out with them just because they feel like it, especially if it's coming in at the last minute. Wait and reschedule and let them set a sensible time in a sensible place. And if they're not willing to do that, then they're not a good potential partner for you. Now, you might wonder, if I don't do any of these things and I don't submit to a 5 sensory, doesn't that mean they'll just go to someone else that'll submit to them? And sometimes that's true, they do. But what will happen when they go to someone else is that they will probably discard them after a short period of time, and then they'll be wondering about you. And why are they wondering about you? It's because you were that person who didn't give in to their games. So you're a bit more mysterious. That's who we are, 6 sensories. We're very, very mysterious.